Welcome to Mr. English Waves. I am glad you are here today. Before we begin, I want you to do something for me. Find a comfortable position. If you are lying down, perfect. If you are sitting, relax your shoulders. Just you, your English, and one of the most extraordinary true stories ever told. A story about a girl, not a queen, not a princess, not a warrior, just a girl. A farm girl who could not read, who had never held a sword, who had never commanded a single soldier. And yet, at 17 years old, she walked into the royal court of France and said 6 words that changed history forever. 6 words. God has sent me to save France. And somehow, impossibly, she did. This is the true story of Joan of Arc. To understand Joan, we must first understand the world she was born into. The year is 1412. France is dying. For nearly 80 years, France and England have been locked in a brutal war. Historians call it the 100 Years' War, and France is losing. English armies control the north of France. The French king is weak and indecisive. City after city is falling into English hands. The people of France are exhausted. They are hungry. They are afraid. They have been at war for so long that many have forgotten what peace feels like. In the small village of Domremy, far from the battles and the politics, a baby girl is born to a simple farming family. Her name is Joan. We know her today as Joan of Arc. Joan grows up like any other village girl. She tends the sheep. She helps her mother with the house. She goes to church. She cannot read. She cannot write. These things are not unusual for a farm girl in 15th century France. But Joan is different in one extraordinary way. She hears voices. At first, she says nothing, but the voices grow louder and clearer. She believes they are the voices of saints, Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, Saint Margaret, and they all carry the same message. Joan, you must save France. Joan, you must go to the king. Joan, you are chosen. Imagine hearing this. You are 13 years old. You are a farm girl in a tiny village. You have no education, no weapons, no army. And the voices in your head are telling you to save an entire country. Most people would ignore these voices. Most people would be afraid. Joan was afraid too, but she listened. At 16 years old, Joan made a decision that would change history. She would go to the king. But first, she needed to convince a local military commander, Robert de Baudricourt, to give her an escort to the royal court. She walked to his castle and told him about her mission, but he laughed and sent her home. Joan returned and was mocked again, yet she refused to give up. When she came back a third time, something in her confidence, something in her eyes made him stop laughing. He finally agreed and gave her an escort. Joan cut her hair short, dressed in men's clothing for protection, and began an extraordinary 11-day journey through enemy-controlled territory to reach the royal court at Chinon at Fort. Imagine that, a teenage farm girl traveling through English-controlled land with only 6 soldiers beside her. When she finally arrived, King Charles VII decided to test her. Disguising himself among his courtiers, he wanted to see whether this young girl truly was who she claimed to be. Joan entered the crowded royal hall, having never seen the king before, and with no idea what he looked like. Yet she walked directly through the crowd,
straight to the disguised king, and knelt before him, leaving the entire court in complete silence.
Joan is given armor. She is given a sword. She is given an army. And now the truly impossible begins. The city of Orleans has been under English siege for months. French commanders have tried everything. Nothing has worked. Joan arrives at Orleans in April 1429. She is 17 years old. Within 9 days, the siege of Orleans is broken. The English, who have been winning this war for 80 years, retreat in shock and disbelief. Word spreads across France like wildfire. A girl, a farm girl, has done what no French commander could do in months. The people call her La Pucelle, the maid, the chosen one. French soldiers who were ready to give up suddenly believe again. Because if this girl can do the impossible, then perhaps France can too. Let us pause here and learn 3 powerful words from today's story. The first word is siege. A siege is when an army surrounds a city and cuts off all food and supplies to force the people inside to surrender. The English laid siege to Orleans for months. The second word is indecisive. Indecisive means unable to make clear decisions, unable to take strong action when it is needed. The French king was indecisive, which is why France needed Joan. The third word is certainty. Certainty means complete confidence that something is true or will happen. Joan's certainty, her absolute belief in her mission, was what made even powerful men listen to her. But great stories rarely have simple endings. In May 1430, just 1 year after her greatest victory at Orleans, Joan is captured by enemy soldiers. She is sold to the English, and the king she saved, Charles VII, does nothing. He does not pay her ransom. He does not send soldiers to rescue her. He simply lets her go. Joan sits in prison for months. She is put on trial, not for her battles, not for her victories, but for wearing men's clothing and for claiming to hear the voices of God. The trial lasts months. They try to confuse her. They try to break her. But Joan, this illiterate farm girl, answers every question with such intelligence and such calm that the educated priests and lawyers cannot defeat her in argument. In the end, they condemn her anyway. On the 30th of May, 1431, Joan of Arc is burned at the stake. She is 19 years old. But here is what history remembers. 25 years after her death, France wins the 100 Years' War. The war that had been destroying France for nearly a century ends in French victory. And historians agree, the turning point was Orleans, the moment a 17-year-old farm girl did the impossible. In 1920, nearly 500 years after her death, the Catholic Church declares Joan of Arc a saint. Today, she is the patron saint of France. Statues of her stand in cities across the world. Films have been made about her life. Books have been written about her courage. But perhaps the most powerful thing about Joan is not what she did. It is what she believed. She believed completely, absolutely, impossibly, that one ordinary person could change the world. And she was right. So the next time you feel too small for the challenge in front of you, remember Joan. Remember the farm girl who could not read, who had never held a sword, who had no army, no title, no power, but who had something far more valuable than any of those things. She had certainty. She had the unshakable belief that she was exactly where she was supposed to be, doing exactly what she was supposed to do. That belief moved armies. It saved a nation. And it echoes across 6 centuries, all the way to this moment, right now,
as you sit here improving your English, one story at a time. You are on your own road. Keep walking. Now, I want to hear from you. If you could have one conversation with Joan of Arc, what would you ask her? Leave your answer in the comments below. If today's story moved you and helped your English, please subscribe to English Waves. Every week we travel through history together, one extraordinary life at a time. I will see you in the next one.